Hello, 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 family. How are you this amazing day? I hope all is well. I hope we're being safe. And I just wanted to come to you guys just for a minute. Had something that's been on my heart. I want you to listen to something real quick for me. This is something that we're doing nationwide, and I hope that you guys will join in. Now, all over the world are inevitable. Contrary to the opinions of some, the riots are both effective and necessary. Problem is, it's not a sustainable path to what we want. But then what next? What are we supposed to do? That's what this message is about. What we're going to do. Young people, my college students, my high school students, you're ready to act. You're ready to fight. But no one's listening to you. They just keep telling you to go home. But I hear you, and we have a plan. In order to find the solution, we must first understand why this is happening. The reason that officers of the law and private citizens acting as if they're officers of the law continue to murder us is because we can offer no consequence. For example, the reason you don't see Jewish people being murdered by police is because the Jewish community can provide economic consequences. They own things collectively. They're well invested in the media and the law, and they've built a strong community by focusing on exclusive internal growth and wealth building. But when members of the Black community are murdered by white officers or vigilantes, we peacefully protest, focus on whatever election is upcoming. Ultimately, there are no convictions for the criminals. There's something that we missed about how the civil rights movement was effective. Protesting was just the beginning. It was to unify the people and bring attention to the issue. But the next step was always economic action, boycotting, investing in our communities. Then that economic action is what forced legislation. The reason our efforts continue to fail is because we first of all keep asking for change instead of forcing it. But secondly, because we keep skipping a critical step in the process. So what do we want? Well, in the short term, we demand justice. In the long term, we demand reform. But we must be specific if we are to hold our nation accountable. So we demand three things. One, we demand convictions and equitable and appropriate prison time for all officers involved in the murders of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and all parties involved in the lynching of Ahmaud Arbery. Two, we demand legislation that ensures independent review of public safety officers. And three, we demand a modification to the standards by which officers can be prosecuted. I'm sure you've heard people say, if you want change, get to the polls. Now, I'm not suggesting voting is useless, but the reality is voting will not solve our problems. In fact, we cannot allow ourselves to become distracted by political affiliations. The only way to get the change we seek is to show strength both economically and physically. So first, let's address physical strength. It is both irrational and un-American for us to continue to be met with force and not respond in kind. This is why we need all able Black Americans to exercise their constitutional rights and legally acquire a firearm. Perhaps Ahmaud Arbery would be alive right now had he been able to defend himself against the thugs who lynched him. And under Georgia's stand your ground laws, well, he would have been within his legal rights. To all my gangbangers, my Bloods, my Crips, GDs, folk, everybody, I'm asking you to help us protect our communities from the white supremacist groups who would harm us. You are already armed, and you're not afraid to die. I hope that you see fit to call a truce and unite against a greater common enemy in order to protect our children, our mothers, our sisters, aunties, and grandmothers. Now we must address how we fight economically. America doesn't particularly care about Black life. If it did, we wouldn't still be facing what we're facing right now. What America does care about is Black dollars. So we have to start speaking America's language. Effective immediately, we will only buy food from Black-owned restaurants. This does not apply to grocery stores, as we don't feel there are enough Black-owned grocery stores nationwide at this point to accommodate the initiative. However, there are many grocery items you can find on sites like WeBuyBlack.com. Now, our Black-owned restaurant initiative means that you will need to avoid many of your favorite restaurants, but you will discover new Black-owned favorites. And you must ask yourself what's more important. Understand that this is only phase one of
of a larger plan. We will implement phase 2 in the weeks to come. But this is something that everyone can do. So what's the point, and why will this work? According to both Nielsen and the CDC, Black people eat more fast food than anyone. By diverting our billions of dollars, we will accomplish two things. One, change is not free. Supporting only Black restaurants keeps our money in our communities, money we can ultimately leverage to create the changes we all want to see. And two, it uses our money we're already spending anyway, to create powerful billionaire allies. These companies will do what is necessary to get our dollars back. If that means helping us to meet our objectives, well, then that's what they'll do. There are a few important notes to make when concerning this plan. This is not a boycott. We are not punishing white businesses. We are simply consumers who are making a choice to exclusively support Black restaurants in the strategic interest of justice and reform. Please note that we are exclusively supporting Black-owned restaurants, not minority-owned. The terms Black and minority are not interchangeable. So, to my Chinese, Korean, Arabic, and Indian restaurant owners, we have nothing against you personally. But if we don't do this now, there will be none of us left to buy your products anyway. If a franchise location is owned by a Black person, eat at that location exclusively. We will not harm our own people. There are websites like eatblackowned.com that you can use to find Black-owned restaurants in your area. But I'm confident that once everyone learns of our initiative, they'll let you know how to find them. We will not support non-equitable services. We will support Black restaurants that offer the quality and service we deserve. And if we have a negative experience, we will not generalize and say, see, this is why I don't support Black businesses. We will simply express our concerns to the management, and if we so choose, we just won't go back to that particular restaurant, just as we would behave with a restaurant that isn't Black-owned. This is not a one-day event. Did you know that the famous Montgomery bus boycott lasted over a year? 381 days to be exact. It takes time and consistency to have impact, just as it took time and consistency to implement the racist constructs we are fighting. We will continue with our strategy until our demands are met. At times, this will not be easy. You will be tempted to stray. But please accept that there can be no change without sacrifice. A brief message to white Americans. We don't hate you. We don't hate America. We just need it to work for us in the same way it works for you. Please stop saying all lives matter. Saying all lives matter is like one house in a subdivision is on fire. The fire truck arrives, and you ask the fireman to douse your house with water, even though it's not on fire, because your house is important too. We've been asking for equality for hundreds of years now. Please process that. Understand, we're done asking. This word you see on my shirt is ukulula. It's Zulu. It means fight. Black people, I need us to know that we are bigger than slavery. Our existence didn't begin when we became useful to America. We have our own continent, our own African culture, our own independent history. We are better than begging to not be murdered. The time has come for us to fight, and now we know how. Now this plan cannot work if people don't know about it. So if you do nothing else, it's important that you share this post or the link to this post on all your social media. And whenever you mention the plan, please use the hashtag #HowWeFight. You can find a hard copy of the plan at thewilsonacademy.org. Remember, #HowWeFight. Share the post.
Okay, family. I hope we got that. I really hope that we do it. I think this is the answer to the problem. And so many people have been asking, what's next? This is what's next. I've been saying it for years, at least 2 or 3 years, to hold our money. As you can go back into my videos, I have a video on there that was close to Christmas time, and I said that I wanted us to hold our money until things change as far as police brutality. Go back and look up the video and play it. And it is time for us to do something different. We are asking for a leader. I don't think we need a leader. I think we need to be on the same accord. We need to be on one page. We need to understand what the demands are. So when others ask, what are your demands? then we can tell them what our demands are. And our demands are for police brutality to stop. Our demands are for us to have solidarity. I think we need a place for another entity to investigate the police officers. You can't investigate yourself. It just makes no sense. I think we need a place for the laws of reform to be no training. We don't want to train racist officers how not to be racist. That's in their blood. We need to go through their behavior file, their human resource file, and anybody that has any type of racial complaints, they need to be fired. We need to take care of uh, if there are any good cops per se, they need a place to go to be able to voice what's going on that they see anonymously, not to the captain, who will in turn tell the other boys because he's in the club. They need a place to go where they can talk anonymously and get some results. So I hope that you heard the different places to go. WeBuyBlack.com. I did display that on my video previously last night, yesterday. And he said one, we eat black, what is it? Eatblack.com. Eat black. I have to look it up, but I will put it in the comments. But I hope we are ready to for phase two. That we've did the riots, we've did the protests, we didn't burn, but burning happened, which I'm okay with, because I think they did something that we as Black folk, that's not in to do. We are so docile right now. We are so um, we're so laid back to where we don't want to scare the white folk. We don't want to make any noise because we're fearful, and we've been terrorized since forever by white supremacy in this system. And we know that. So we're kind of more, well, maybe if I don't make change or maybe if I don't make trouble, change will come. Well, let me just tell you, change will never come unless you make some noise. Revolution, change never happened without revolution, without bloodshed. Yes, our Bloods and Crips. I'm coming to you guys and I'm saying we need you. We don't need you in the streets. We need you fighting white supremacy. We need you to come together and do what's right. We need you to, um, we know you're not afraid to die. We need you to, if we're dying anyway in the streets, doing nothing. If we die at least trying to change our situation. I'm tired of this. I know you are. We have some other stuff that's coming down the pike, but right now we are where you see this is a time for us as Black folk to um, kind of pool our monies together and create things that you see in the Black community that's not there. It's time to create our own businesses, time to create our own nail shops, our own, where you do pedicures, manicures. It's time for us to get our plumbers, our electricians, our painters, our carpenters together, and you start your own business. Bring your businesses together because there's no sense in having 15 different Black-owned businesses and trying to do it by yourself. We can't. We have $1.2 trillion. We can do this, family. And sometimes to start, they're not going to give us a loan. We have to create something where we can pool our monies together, go to that single place and say, hey, this is what I need. And you get a certain amount of money, but you have to team up with somebody else and work it together. And you guys team your money up, maybe pay $100 a week for rent. And that's what, maybe five or six people. That's $600. It's $1,200. It's $3,000 a month. Okay, you can do this. Okay, maybe if we're breaking it down, try to get something that's in a Black area, Black owned, Black area, or an area that's not too bad. I'm not talking about going into the really super bad areas. There are some areas that's black, but are not bad. There's a difference. Maybe go into an area and you pull your monies together, and you pay the rent out of the first week, and then you have extra money for whatever it is extra that you need. Have a little kitty, and we start taking some of that money and supporting some of our local candidates that want to run for office as mayor, school board, local DAs, judges. We support them as a block, as a Black block. Okay, and we support them if they're black and black first. We don't support anybody that's for everybody. It's time out for everybody because everybody is not dying. Everybody, just like he said, there's no sense in me putting water on your house when your house is not burning. My house is burning. I need the water, but you go next door and you say, "Well, everybody's house needs water." Well, no, everybody's house is not on fire. I hope people are understanding that and not sitting here saying, "Well, all lives matter." We do understand that, and we're not saying that they don't. But I don't see white people being gunned down. I don't see white people being hung on trees. I don't see white people going through nearly what we're as much as what we're going through right now. Um, they know, they see. This is why it's nationwide. And I think it's going nationwide because it's more spiritual than it is natural. So we have to understand that things are changing. The changing of the gods is here, and we have to go along with it. If we want change, Black folk, we are going to have to do it. We are going to have to do something. We can no longer sit here and just wait for other people to do for us what we can do for ourselves. It is up to us. If you want change, then you be about it and not just talk about it. It is time for us to be about what we want to see instead of us complaining, cussing, and fussing, and not doing anything. And this is going to take us doing it, and it's going to take some time. Just like the man said, boycott was what, over a year. It's going to take some time, and I'm hoping that you come on here and you share this video so that we can get more Black folk on board. Well, I know we're not going to get them all, but the more that we can get, the better things will be and the quicker that we will get to move to the second phase. Okay, because there's other phases as far as this, and as far as those Breonna Taylor, her the officers that killed her, murdered her. We still have to march for her, for them. We still want those officers arrested. We still want more charges besides first and second degree and third degree murder. No, you need to be first degree murder and nothing less. And they need to get the death penalty. If you kill a person unjustly, being a police officer, guess what? You need to die also, the same way you just murdered that person. I'm just saying, until we do something, until we make demands, harsh demands, and this is what it's going to take, us making harsh demands. And sometimes we, as Black folk, we get in our feelings. It's time to put our feelings aside, and it is time for us as a family to look out for each other. And as you see these race soldiers in your neighborhood, you need you need to police the police. Get your block buddy started. Get your block patrol started. So therefore, when you see police, get you more than 50 retired vets. Okay, vets that are sitting around waiting for action, waiting to do something. We get them, round them up, and what we need to do is send them out. Have a main number for a main person to call, and he can round up the other ones at a moment's notice. And you have these in your areas on your block. We can't say communities because we don't have communities, but an area where they are mostly Black, we can have the veterans on call like that. So when the police come, the veterans come, and the veterans have weapons. They're practicing their Second Amendment. We have a right to do that, and we have just not been doing that. But it's time for us to start. It is time for us to start now. If you look at your state laws and see what's legal in your state, and what do you need to do as far as in your state to get your weapon, to get certified, then you need to do that. Black family, this is a new day. We are at war, and you need to understand that we are no longer. It is no longer. We're gonna do what we've been doing. No, things are changing and you need to change with it. Your mindset needs to change. And we're not going to get everybody, but we are not going to any longer tolerate traitors. If you are trading and caught trading, being a traitor and being allowed to be used by white supremacy, the system that has kept us hostage and has traumatized us since forever, we will deal with you. There is no more, are we going to sit by and just allow you to wreck what we're trying to enact here? That's not going to be tolerated. This is no longer, we're not Black Wall Street. They had the idea, but they didn't have the security. They didn't have the fortitude. They didn't understand how dangerous it still was for them because they was thinking, because white people they were doing business. White folk were coming, getting businesses and orders from them, but they thought they were their friends. This is what we have to stop. And it's time for us to understand that because a white person smile at you, they are not your friend, your enemy, your open enemy, your slave master's children's children are not your friends. They will never be your friends. So stop with this. I have a white friend named Becky, and we're best friends. Trust me, you're a safe Negro to her. And this is why you're one of her best friends because she can trust you that you won't hurt her. But my thing is, until you are y- and we got to get done with the brainwashing thing. We've been so brainwashed and so conditioned. This is what's really the problem here. We are looking at people and because they show you their teeth, you think, oh my God, they're not as bad as I thought. They're not as bad as what we thought. They're not as bad because you don't see that person stabbing you in the back, or you don't see that person's how when they're angry and what they say behind closed doors about you. You think they're your friend until you understand that you don't have friends that aren't black. And some black folk, you have to understand, because they're black. If they sound like Obama and they sound like Michelle Obama, and if they sound like somebody that's not who does not have a B1 attitude, then they're not your friend. Just like somebody said, just because they look like you and they have your skin color does not make them friends. I'm sure I'm not saying it right. Hey, strange fruit, how you doing? Yes. And you know what? And this is a thing that we don't understand. They are here to betray. They are just like they're mixing and mingling right now with our men. You know why? It's not that they love our men so much. It's because they need our men to survive. They're not reproducing. They're not making babies. They have a low birth rate and they need our men to survive. It's not about you're so gorgeous that you're just the finest thing on earth. They're using you to for their own survival. But we don't understand that. Just like these some of the one of these NFL players, he had a woman that he had just asked to marry, and they had showed him that she had a face. This was years, maybe a couple years before I guess they met. She was white supremacist. She had a page that was talking about black folk and talking about 'em really bad. And he actually sent this page to him and asked him, "Are you still willing to marry her?" What was his answer? Yes. Why? Once you learn truth, when you go forward with stupidity, then whatever happens to you happens. Another guy, NFL, he was married to a white woman, had about 6 babies by her. He was getting ready to leave her. She killed him and 5 of those babies. I don't know what she did with the other baby. He probably died too. But I'm just saying, stop. And see, we think that because they are white, they're beautiful. We got beautiful black women also, okay, that are not dysfunctional zeros. We're going from a 10, a black woman who's a 10 to a dysfunctional zero. Are we serious? What is going on with us that we think that this white woman is the prize, the forbidden fruit? That's what it sounds like to me. We're so impressed with something that we used to couldn't have, and now we can have it, and now we're gonna run amok. But they're running amok about you. They're not interested in who you are. They're only interested in their survival. So we can understand, and I know the title was What Manner of Man Are We Dealing With? I hope we're helping you to understand what manner of people they with Mr. Aubrey, they chased him down, they gunned him down, they ran after this young man who was a baby. And every time I think about it, I'm just frustrated right now. And it hurts me to my core because I'm a mom. And I could just imagine a mom's, his mom seeing that tape. I wouldn't even be able to watch the tape because I would be ready to bust. I'm just saying. My thing is when you see how they chased him down, and then this young man was fighting for his life. They had chased him around the neighborhood, as you know. Okay, and then they finally saw him, and that's when the other dude, thank God, he was dumb enough to tape it and spread the tape around. Thank God for ignorance. Thank God for that high IQ person. I'm just saying, but I'm telling you, if it wasn't for him with his IQ and him taping it, we would have missed it. But my thing is, they would have gotten away with murder. But thank God that he was dumb enough to tape it and show it to somebody, and it went to. But guess what? The DA had already saw the same tape we saw. The DA saw it and still didn't want to press charges. What manner of people are we dealing with for you to actually see what happened to this young man and you didn't have something to tug in your heart to say, I need to help this young man? How do you go home and brag about this with your kids? Like his daughter came on and on TikTok and and showed the same videotape on TikTok, on a social media. She showed she was proud of what her dad had did. What type of child is that that you have a father that just murdered somebody cold blood and you're proud of that? Or that that speaks volumes. How do you how is it that you don't have enough in yourself to look at that and say, Dad, that was wrong? Nobody in that family had any common sense or compassion to say, Gregory, Travis, that was wrong. Nobody could say that. They were so proud of what their family member had done. They were so proud of them chasing this black man down like a dog. What manner of people are we dealing with? To go into Brianna's house and shoot up this house 8 times she got shot. 21 times, 21 times you shot in this woman's house. What manner of people are we dealing with? This right here is of huge. This should be showing you what manner of people we're dealing with. These are not people. They can't, it's not normal behavior for you to shoot into a house and say it's okay. And the guy that you're looking for was in jail already. What manner of people hangs up a body? You didn't cut his body parts. You didn't cut his genitalias. You didn't baked it. Now you're gonna take it home as a souvenir. What manner of people are we dealing with who hangs up upside down a pregnant 8 month 8 month this lady was 8 months pregnant. They hung her by her feet. They cut her baby out of her stomach, and when the baby drops on the ground they stomp the baby's head. What manner of people are we dealing with? But then when you fight back they want to bring you up on charges because you didn't allow them to beat the hell out you. You didn't allow them to beat you unconscious to a pulp. They want to bring you up on charges. When you shoot back because they're coming in your house, when they had a warrant, a no knock warrant at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you wake these people up out of their sleep. And this Kenneth thought someone was breaking into his home. So he shoots back and you bring him up on charges? Really? What manner of people are we dealing with? Oh boy, I'm telling you, this gets me so emotional, you guys. Let me see what you're saying. Whew. Oh my God, yes. What manner? I'm glad you said that, strange fruit. Remember the two lesbians that had eight, they had 8 adopted children. 8. And they had been abusing these kids. And they drove these children they had drugged off of a cliff and plunged them, I don't know how many feet down, and killed everybody in the car. What manner of people are we dealing with? And how many, but before that, social services had been trying to get those kids, they had had so many other incidences. But I guarantee you, if I had a house full of white kids that social services had heard that I was abusing, do you not know they would have came that same day and taken those kids away from me? Why would it take months? And they had one other child before had gotten out, a little girl. She had gotten out of the house and they had been starving them. And they put them in the closet. And she ran to the neighbor's house, got away that one time, and had been went to the neighbor's house and had told the neighbor about what was going on in the house. They called the couple and let the girl go back with the couple after the girl had told them that they had been abused. I'm gonna ask you again, what manner of people are we dealing with? What manner of people are we dealing with? Aren't we tired? Aren't we mad enough to change things? Are we mad enough yet? Are we frustrated enough to say enough is enough? What else needs to happen? What more needs to happen for us to say, I've had enough? I'm going to get mine. I'm going to practice self defense. I am going to get my weapon. I am going to practice my Second Amendment. I am going to police our own neighborhoods. And it really bothers me when people talk about black on black crime. That stems from the slavery. That stems from our past. That stems from the hell, the trauma, the anger, the rage that we've gone through in these Americas for 400 or 500 years plus. Did you hear me? That's a long time. That lasted, and I think more slaves died than the Holocaust. Only what, 3,000? They say 6 million, only 3 million died in the Holocaust. But they say the Holocaust was worse than slavery. No, slavery is still going on. And I seen an Africa or some girl from another country, I don't know what country, and she was saying, I'm black, I'm free. And I looked at her, I said, you're a very ignorant, very stupid young woman because you're not free. If you were free, you would see all of these millions of people across the world marching for freedom. So you're a very ignorant young lady for you to stand up there and she was loud too with it. I'm free, I'm American black and and this is freedom. I guess so coming from where she probably came from, this does look like freedom for her. But we've been in this for a long time. And I think anybody from another country should not have anything to say if you don't know our fight. Yes, you've had a fight, but I don't know your fight, and you don't know Americans' fight. So I think foreigners that come from other countries that does not know the fight needs to have a seat and let us have it. We got this. We know what we've gone through. We know where we've been. We know where we're going. We know where we're trying to go. We know what we've had to endure in these Americas to get this far. And I'm telling you, our men, my heart goes out to our kings because they go through hell from birth until they die every single day, every hour, every minute of every day. They go through hell in these Americas for police officers to be able to treat us. And I saw on the Facebook some of the protesters were one police officer ran his SUV into a crowd of protesters. You run your SUV, you run people over. These are the biggest thugs ever. I'm sorry, I'm reading something on the side. These are the biggest creeps, gangs of America ever. And this is why they say they're good cops. Okay, good cops. Prove yourself. They need to establish a place for our so-called good cops to go to where they can tell or talk or complain about what's going on that they see. It's time for these good cops, if there even exists, to step forward and say what is really going on. What have you seen anonymously? Give them a place to go anonymously. You don't have to leave your name. We won't track your phone number, and you get to say what you need to say. As long as you have proof, I don't even think you need proof. Well, I think to have a bigger case, have some proof. Just have your pictures or have your case numbers or whatever, or however we can do it anonymously so that they can do what needs to be done so that these crooked cops can come off the street. And I think the racist ones, who have already, because they said the one that killed George had so many complaints and so many cases open against him, like 17 cases. How do you have, you've been on the force 20 years, how do you have 17 cases? Who has 17 complaints on a real job? On my job, if you get 17 complaints, you're out. If you get two or three, if you get three or four, you're out. But he had 17 complaints and nobody ever did anything. How is that possible? What manner of people are we dealing with where you can do and you can say and you can act any kind of way and you're covered because you're white? Really? But then you throw a book at our men for doing what, jaywalking? Did you see the man that was riding his bike and he was jaywalking and the police tried to stop him? He didn't have a bail on his bike or something. There's two cases. One, it was a man that was jaywalking, and the police stopped him. Okay, tried to arrest him. And another man, he was riding his bike, and he didn't have a bail on his bike or something. They arrested him. Are you serious? What manner of people are we dealing with? What manner of people are we dealing with? We have been through so much, and we still survive. That's the greatest part about it. No matter what they do, we multiply like roaches, right? I'm just saying. We multiply, but it's meant for us to multiply. It's not meant for us to be killed. You cannot distinguish the chosen. And this ought to prove that who we really are. We are the chosen. And be able to, you will never be able to what? To genocide us. You'll never be able to get rid of us. That's that'll never happen because of who we are. And you can see who we are. You can see it. Look nationwide. They're still marching. The media may not be covering. I don't even watch the news, so I just watch Facebook. I just watch YouTube. channel, Vicky Dillard and Professor Truth and Dr. Boyce Walk. And that's my black media. That's the only black media. And Phil Scott, African Diaspora Tigers. Those are the ones that I watch because I know that I'm going to get truth. And that's it. All the rest, I'm going to waste my time because the media has betrayed black people, and this is why they treat us the way they treat us because of the media. The media is very racist, and I refuse to watch racist media just trying to brainwash me against my own people. And I think black folk as a whole should never watch the news because it taints how you look at your own. And anytime you can look at your own and you won't, hey honey. Hey, I'm going to take cake. Okay, that's my husband. Yeah, but anytime I forgot my thought, Lord. But anytime I kind of forgot my thought. So anyway, I didn't want to be on here a long time. I just kind of wanted to come to you guys just to I just what manner of man are we dealing with? We have to we cannot forget what we've gone through. And even with us marching now and with the police kneeling with us, you can kneel, you can march, but guess what? Even the LGBT, I saw how strange fruit. I saw how they was trying to take over our cause. But guess what? We have to still remind them that this is not about everybody. We're gonna keep the focus on black BLACK folk. Okay. So when somebody come to you and say it's about all people, show me where all people have been hung. Show me where all people have been burned. Show me where all people are facing so much more jail time than any other culture or race. Show me the evidence that you have gone through. Because being black, you can't change that. Being LGBT, LMNOP, you can always change that. Nobody would know you're gay unless you tell them. Nobody would know that you're gay. But guess what? I walk in the room, everybody gonna know I'm black. So your fight is not my fight. So that's your argument. Your fight will never be my fight. Your fight can never be my fight. Your fight is not. It can't even. It doesn't even remotely come close to what black folk go through. So for LGBT, LMNOP, have a seat. You can sit this one out. If you think you're gonna take over this one, you'll never. This is our fight. And we don't need anybody that's not going to understand our fight to stand up and say anything. So you have a seat, you get your own march, you get your own riots or whatever it is you need to do. You can do that on your own. But this one here is much needed for black folk. And I hope when you see them, you say what you need to say, they can have a seat. Because guess what? You're not going to take over this fight. Because this one here, this is our time. This is our time for justice. So it makes me mad. But every culture does this. Every time black folk rise up, they want us to get this is the media wants to get your focus off of the real problem. And the real problem is America not dealing with racism. The real problem is that they're looking at us and say, oh, black on black crime. And I'm looking at you and say, oh, white on white crime. Remember Peterson, who killed his wife? Oh, she was pregnant and he killed her and buried her for a girlfriend that he had. Okay. So it's not just a black on black crime. White folk kill each other also. So it's never just a black on black. We just around black folk, just like white folk around white folk. That's who they kill. Black on black crime is from slavery. Okay. We treat each other the way they have taught us, the way they have shown us, and the way they treat us. We treat each other. It's just like babies. You have babies. Okay. You treat the baby a certain kind of way, he'll begin to treat other people the way you treat him, right? So you have to understand the bigger picture here. Yes, strange fruit. You have to understand, you have to see the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is this is our fight, and everybody else have a seat. If you are not here to march for the black agenda, have a seat. We don't need help. We don't need your help. We really don't. We've gone through enough and we will not be distracted. And the media wants to put more attention on them. And that's what I've noticed when I did see the news. It was they had a young man on there and he was talking about the everybody. No, have a seat. No, it's not about everybody. And just like the little girl that was from somewhere else, I don't want to say Africa because she could have been from somewhere else, who was saying that she was free. Yes, she might be. This might be the freest that she's ever been in because of what she's gone through in her country. But even with the ones that's coming over here, you have to understand our fight. You have to read our history to understand that a lot of stuff that we've gone through, you didn't go through. You don't even know about because they didn't even teach this in your country of how they were neglected and how they were treating and how they were traumatizing and how they treated and how they buck broke and how they would sleep with our babies and how they would sleep with our men in front of their wives, in front of their family. That's called buck breaking. And how they would sell our babies and feed them to alligators, and how we would have our babies, and we show our babies any attention, and they would take our babies and sell them off, and we'd never see them ever again. And how our men, and this is why our men, it's so hard for them to um to get together with one woman, because they use them as buck break. They would and use them as cattle. Our men were sleeping with 15 different women. He had sex with, and sometimes he would have sex with his sister, sex with his mama, sex with his daughter. They didn't care how those babies came. They allowed the boys to sleep with their moms. That's how the word mother effer came in and into play. That's where that word came from, because they was having moms sleep with their sons. This is what manner of people we're dealing with. So when I ask that question, I know what manner. I just want to know if you know what manner of people we're dealing with, Black family, because it is time for us to understand what manner of people and how we need to deal with these people, because it's time for us to deal with them. It's time for us to rise up and to deal with them. We're afraid of what? They're people just like we are. But that's on another note. I didn't come on here to rant and rave. I just wanted you to hear the if you start came to the video late, I had a young man on there, and he was talking, he had the plan. And I wanted you guys to hear the plan, and then I wanted to bring to your attention what we do next, so that everybody can be on the same page. And I think I did send that out, and I hope you allow that video to go viral. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Like I said, we don't need leaders, because leaders can be bought out. We need everybody in the Black community to be on the same page. I do appreciate everybody that came on. I want you guys to like and share the video so that more people can understand the Black fight and what we are here for. And we've made our demands. We're making our demands. We need them to understand the next step is police reform. You have to reform the situation. The whole system needs to be broken down. You know how you tear, how the Twin Towers came down? Okay, we need to do the police, the law enforcement, the reform. We need to tear it all down and then rebuild it. Okay. But with that said, family, I didn't want to be on here, but you guys take care, be safe, keep your head on the swivel, get your passport, get your practice your Second Amendment legally, find out what's involved in your state. We need to look into an online Black store. I've been doing a little homework this morning, because if we're going to hold our money, we need somewhere. And they did say that what did he say? He said something about Black food. I will put it in the comments. But I just need to know the name of it, and I will put it in the comments. I think he said there is a place, but I can't remember what he said. But he did say we buy Black, so we can go on there. We buy black.com. We can go on there and see. But I think he said blackeats.com or something like that. But I'll put it in the comments. But I do appreciate you, everybody that tuned in. And with that said, have an amazing day on purpose. Peace.